battle is not in us closing our necks, but it's in the mind. Shouldn't be giving in, you know. And I started now asking myself this question to say that, which I want us to discuss now: how far is too far? Because many a times we can say yes, we're in the journey, but then we can get that far but not that far. You know,
I can allow him to touch me here, but not here.
But when he gets to the zip and the pants, I have to stop. You know, how far is too far? And I remember I was reading this book by is it Leather Hensey? No, it's Heather Lindsay. What did I just say? Leather Hensey. Wait. Heather Lindsay. And I said Leather Hensey. She's good.
And she actually talks about purity a lot. I think that's one person that I listen to and I'm like, purity is the way. Like, guys, I am doing purity.
Yes.
I know sometimes you fall and you like,
I have fallen short of God's glory. I don't know how many times in the journey I've cried myself to sleep. There were times when I told myself that, you know what, God, I don't want to carry this cross anymore. This sexual purity cross, I don't want to carry it anymore.
Like everyone is having fun, loving.
I've been criticized. I've literally been crushed, but hard pressed, not crushed actually, because the Bible says that though we are hard pressed, but we're not crushed. So I've been hard pressed by society. I've been hard pressed by my thoughts. I've been hard pressed by the men in my life. You know, a potential guy who's literally a real lover, a full bae, a whole bae. But when coming to that aspect, there's just not an agreement. You know, so it has been hard. And I remember Heather Lindsay now. It's Heather Lindsay. Heather Lindsay. So there was this book that I was reading of her. It's good. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Right. It talks all about sexual purity. I think also one thing that could help you in this journey: read more about it. You know, until you tap into that consciousness of sexual purity, you'll realize that more people are doing it than showing it. You know. So and then there was this title of the chapter named "How Far Is Too Far," and right there she talks about how if you can do something with a guy in front of your dad, then it's too far. If you cannot do it, whatever you do with him when your dad is not in the room, and you cannot do it when your dad is in the room, then it's too far. Now tell me here, if you're in bed with a guy, your dad walks in, what will you do when your dad walks in?
Because God is our dad.
Exactly. That's what he said. That's what she said. She said, like, if you can't be with a guy in a certain way or act with a guy in a certain way in front of your dad, then it's too far. Be it in the way you communicate, the way you touch, the way you kiss. If you can't do it in front of your dad, then it's too far. And I thought to myself, if I'm caught up in a room with a man and my father literally walks in, what would I do? Would I kiss this guy? Would I touch this guy? Would I talk this guy and everything? I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
And that's how she said, that's how you determine when far is really too far.
Wow.
You know, God being the Father. God being the one that looks out on us, you know. So it really goes beyond. And when you begin to sit and meditate on such things, it actually broadens your knowledge. It doesn't make you feel like an outcast, but in fact, it actually makes you understand why you're in this journey. Whenever I fall short of God's glory, He constantly reminds me of the decision. I cannot even breathe. I constantly suffocate. Whenever I'm doing something that is against the will of God for sexual purity, I suffocate. I get anxiety and depression because literally I'm going the route wherein God does not want me to go. You know, so I'm having to read more about people that have been in the journey, talking to people that have been in the journey made it easier for me to accept that I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one.
You know, because another thing, if you make this decision on your own and you decide to run it on your own, you're gonna burn out. That's the reality of it.
I think when we make things like the Bible says, in His strength is made perfect in our weaknesses. We need to just say, God, I am weak.
Yes, I'm a weak person.
I'm a weak person.
I'm a messy woman. I'm this, I'm that.
Let His
but I
strength
also
work
know
through
that
us.
even though I'm weak, your strength is perfected. Your strength is the one that can work in me, through my weakness.
Yeah.
So it has been a journey. It's still a journey. Still gonna be a journey until one day. I can't wait for the day when I get to testify and prove to everybody that's watching, because I know that everyone's looking. You know, when you begin to make that decision, everyone wants to see that step that you miss. They really want to see that,
and they want to talk about that step.
They're waiting, and anxiously they're waiting aggressively for that moment wherein you're gonna miss your step. Listen to the comments, and you're gonna hear that these people have always waited for you to make this mistake, you know, this particular mistake. And I remember there's this girl, she was abstaining, and she was always telling people about abstinence and everything. And she felt pregnant, you know, and to her it was that thing. I would say like, okay, I'm pregnant, and then she felt condemned a lot because firstly there were people that were looking up to her. Secondly, it was a mandate that she ran with. She condemned people and told people that you don't have to have sex, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. The approach also that she gave to other people.
Okay, and she's perfect.
Exactly. She never made room to say, listen, sis, it happens. You know, I'm human. I also fall short of God's glory. I also sometimes slip and fall, you know. But to her, she portrayed that perfect journey, you know, that perfect fairy tale story wherein everything is going perfectly until she fell pregnant. And she took that as a lesson to say, this is where God now was saying, literally sometimes God will humble you and bring you to other, make you realize, he will humble you and make you realize that he is God. And after humbling you, he will lift you up again. You know, that's just how faithful and loving he is. I've seen his hand throughout this journey. I've seen him faithful, you know. There are many times I've fallen short of God's glory, and probably people are asking themselves, how have you fallen short of God's glory? You've been saying fallen short. Okay, falling short of God's glory is like literally going against the decision of sexual purity. For instance, you're saying that you're abstaining and then you kiss a guy, or you even have sexual intercourse with a guy. I've done that sometime in my journey. You know, that's falling short of God's glory. But I always bounce back to the decision. I bounce back to the fact that yes, I have done that, but then I need to get up and get going. You know, get up and get going. And that's what keeps me motivated all the time. Books, even when the books that I read, they talk about how there will be that season of falling. But when you begin to rise up, you rise up better. You know now that, okay, fine, when I'm with a guy, we don't have to go to his room for me to know him better.
Yes.
We don't have to lay on his bed. I learned this. I had to learn that way. For me, that's how I got to learn. You know, nobody came to me and told me that this is the do's and don'ts. This is how you're supposed to treat your boyfriend. This is what you're supposed to do. I had to learn that. Don't touch, don't do that. I learned that the hard way. You know, I learned that the hard way, and I felt the pain. I literally felt like God was just giving me an experience of what he's feeling at the moment about what I'm doing. And I cried. You know, I cried. Nobody even asked me or said, why are you crying or anything. Or nobody even said I should cry. I just felt like God gave me his pain and said, this is how I feel about you. And you know what? I broke down. And with that, I could learn. Today, I make better decisions. I know that, okay, fine. Far is too far when this happens, you know. And I'm not going to keep on lighting the fire to see whether or not it's going to burn. I know the fire is hot. There's no need for me to try and test the fire because it's hot, you know. So I've literally gotten rid of entertaining situations and people that may lead me to falling astray, you know. Or voices rather, you know, sometimes voices in your head when they talk to you and tell you that do this, do that. Do
this. Oh, what if you don't get married?
Exactly. You know, all those. I've aborted that. I've aborted all that out of my mind, and and God said that do not conform to the patterns of the world. But He also mentions that be transformed by the renewal of the mind
daily. So
when you on a daily basis, when you're renewed in the mind, and that's what we're talking about. That saying it's a much more of a mental battle than a physical one, you know, because once you're transformed by the renewal of your mind, then you're going to have a much more better perspective to why you're in this journey. Yes, you'll fall, but also know that you'll bounce back. Though a righteous man may fall 7 times, but he will get back up, you know. So that's how the journey has been like. Truly, I'm actually enjoying it. Okay, well, sometimes. It's hard.
It is hard.
It's just that, oh Lord, help me.
But then, like, if there's someone just watching out there and they want to pursue sexual purity, like, with all their heart, just like, I won't say like 3 steps or but like,
and well, you would like me to share with them on how to start or something?
Yeah.
Is it? So now I normally don't like giving guidelines because I feel like our journeys are different. You know, I feel like we've been through quite a whole lot of different things, and it's almost impossible to say that step 1, step 2, step 3. You know, but what I can say literally, because I remember when I shared my story, I had thousands of women and even men coming to me and tell me that I want to do this so bad. I heard a cry that had remained silent for a long time. That's when the silent cry was revealed. I was a bit ashamed and a bit insecure by sharing my story and how I've been sexually active. You know, it's a bit embarrassing to share that, but God said, look how I'm going to use your story to bring people to my kingdom. Look how I'm going to use that very same mess as a message to the people. You know, and as people came to me, I remember they've been asking advices on how do we do this, how do I start. The loudest cry was, how do I start? I'm stuck with my boyfriend, we're sexually active, but literally I'm feeling exhausted. And we see how spiritual this thing is. We see how it's much more of an intimate thing than just that, you know, it's one of those things. You know, it's never a by the way or one of those things. It's literally an intimate connection. And a whole lot of people that have asked me, how do I start? I always say that renew your mind. You know, start by renewing your mind. Get yourself used to the idea that I need to abstain. Before I made the decision, I thought of it, I don't know for how long. For a very long time. It was birthed in my thought.
And especially
in my heart.
If you have like someone that's there. Like,
exactly.
You know?
That's exactly what I remember at that time. Oh my word. I forgot to mention that at that time when I made the decision, I was actually dating a guy. And we were sexually active. And I had to come to him and tell him that that schedule has changed. The schedule has changed now. You know? And renewal of the mind. I was willing. We had a very good relationship going on. You know, he was a good guy at that time, but then I had to sacrifice him for a decision. Look how deep it is. I'm saying I'm waiting for my husband, whom I haven't met, but I've literally rejected a guy that I've seen and I've met before for someone I have not met. You know, so it's that faith kind of game also. You know, because of like the minute you decide to step out of that relationship, you don't even know what's gonna happen. You know, you don't even know whether or not what if he was the one that had to marry you, or what if he was the one that had to propose. So it starts with renewing your mind. It requires a whole lot of sacrifice. There's some things you just have to let them go. Some thoughts you just have to let them go. Some ways of doing things you have to unlearn certain things. You know, and then from there on, obviously you feed yourself with knowledge. You cannot. The word of God says the people perish because of lack of knowledge. The reason why people fall short of the celibate journey is because they don't understand why they're doing it. They don't know what is celibacy. They just someone gets heartbroken today and then tomorrow they decide that they're abstaining from sex. 3 months down the line, back to square one. It's because of you don't know what you're doing. You know, you're just controlled by emotions. I remember my friends used to think that it's because of I'm heartbroken or because of I'm single that I decided to be abstain, but that was not the point. It went beyond. I was learning something, and something that I believed I had to cultivate by even learning more. You know, so it's very much important to do a whole lot of reading. Follow people that have the same vision as you. They'll encourage your vision. Yes, people like, you know, follow her. Why do I even say follow people? Follow her. Follow her so that you can be able to maintain the decision. Even when you backslide, when you have someone that you're following, you actually realize that, oh, so this happens. We do fall. So we do make these kind of mistakes in this journey, and we do learn them, and we do bounce back, you know, and then maintain the decision on a daily basis. Like I said, it's a constant daily decision that you make, that this is the decision that I made. You have to be persistent in keeping the decision that you've made. So yeah, I believe that's the way. And should you be, and I don't know how you will be challenged. I was tested differently. You may be tested in a better way, and or in a worse of way. We never really know. So your approach to it will determine whether or not you're gonna continue the journey or you're just gonna drop everything. I've had reasons and situations that literally pushed me to the edge of saying, you know what, this is it. I'm done with this journey. I've had situations like that, but because of I knew why I started and I remembered who inspired this, I kept running, and I'm keeping on running even today.
Keep on running, girl.
Yep.
Keep on running, girl.
Yep, you gotta run.
So, I'm going to leave Masego's details on the description bar down below. So, follow her on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
What else? Yes. Those are the 3 leading social media platforms, right? Yep.
So, you'll see her face on a regular.
Yeah, definitely. I will be coming more for more segments. We still have. Should we share the secret, or they should wait? No, we still have another segment coming for you guys. So you're gonna see more of me here sharing insights about quite a lot.
Yeah, actually.
Stay pure, in mind, in body. Make the right decisions. Run with the decision, and never be convinced that you cannot succeed in this sexual purity celibate journey. You know, you can do it if you literally got the chance to watch this video and got inspired. That's God telling you that, hey girl, hey boy, it's time to start now. It's me speaking to you. You know, it's not us talking, it's God speaking to you. You know, telling you that, look, it's about that time. You've been suffering for too long. You've been dealing with emotional turmoil for too long. You've been heartbroken for too long. It's time to drop everything and start this journey with me. You know, so yeah. See y'all.
I told you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. There is a notification bell just down below. Click on that notification bell so that every time when I post the video, you don't miss it. You do not miss it. Remember, you are great. You're doing amazing.
Definitely.
You are in this path for a reason. We love you. Bye.